The Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie, a 1972 French surrealist film directed by Louis Buñuel. The protagonists of this film get sick, because when they have sex there are sayings to the fascists that in this way they know that this sex is had. The fascists want to notice that this sex is being had. It's like something maintains constant attention towards them. Now that Car is reaching a place where they hope to avoid those all-seeing ones. Those all-seeing ones are about them, because fascism has those all-seeing ones controlling everything that happens. And so way the all-seeing ones accuse them, if they do something that fascism does not accept. The protagonists of this film are under that control constantly. They would like their rest not to be sick after doing something not allowed in a fascism. 2 girls and 2 men get out of the car that arrived at that place where there is a house where they are not expected to arrive that night. They ring the doorbell and laugh, celebrating what their conquest is going to be like. They seek that cover up for themselves. A woman comes down the stairs to meet them. They are not expected that night, but the next day, they are in that place to find refuge from being noticed. That woman transmits to them that this refuge is still not possible. The woman pretends to avoid sex, while there is no assurance about no being noticed. Now the group proposes to the woman hosting them to go somewhere for dinner. They go to a restaurant. The host woman gets lost because of their lust. The restaurant is open and they can enter. The one who receives them is wanting them to enter despite that the owner of that restaurant is a different one than the one they expected it to be. They want to be there because they are hungry. They don't know that the ones working there are enemies of the ones who want to have sex in their fascist land. Now someone is weeping in that place. They move to see what is happening and find out that there is a body of a dead man. They're lying on the bed and some people are mourning his death. Now they prefer to finally go home and leave the place. They want to distance themselves from that tragedy. Now they have a lot of time until next morning. And the free time is to find a solution to have sex in fascism. They want to find that solution and they have time for it. But they have to work and deal with everything they have to deal with. Now one of those 2 men who is an ambassador is having a meeting with 2 other men. There is a girl on the street that they can see through the window. They find her sexy, and they tell the ambassador about it. The ambassador wants to shoot with a rifle at her direction. She is playing with a toy like a dog. He shoots, and the toy that is like a walking dog is shot. The ambassador says that the girl is a terrorist who is part of a terrorist group. The man says that those within that terrorist group want to target him with a secret plan to kidnap him or to make him die. Now the man gives his guests cocaine in bags. The man is testing the cocaine to know its purity. The 2 men now know that the cocaine he is giving them is the best they can get. The man knows that they are going to use the drug to have sex. The 2 men like the ambassador to be with them sex with girls. Now a car comes back to that house with the ones from the night before. Now the host couple tries to have sex in a room of the house. The couple is interrupted by a domestic worker. That couple has to stop the attempt. Now the girl in the group, who has had more sex, says about the other girl in the group that last night she got so drunk. Now the man in the group who has had less sex is offering a drink that he is going to prepare while explaining how does. The man who is the ambassador likes that man who prepares the drink for them. The couple hosting that group are getting out of the house through a window. In the garden they continue with their attempt to have sex, and there in the garden they hide. Now the man who has already prepared the drink for the group asks the ambassador to tell the chauffeur of their car to come into the house and meet them inside. The man enters the living room where they are. The man who has prepared the drinks wants the chauffeur to drink what he has prepared. The chauffeur drinks it and is told to leave the place. Now the man who prepared the drink says that the chauffeur did not okay when drinking without really knowing what he was drinking. Now they want to know about the couple hosting them and why they are not in the house. A girl from the domestic service tells them that she has seen the couple going away through the garden. The group feels so much afraid. They leave the house quickly and they go away by car. Now a priest comes to the house and asks about the couple living there. He wants to wait for the owners of the house. That priest wants to know what happens in the house, because they know from the all-seeing ones that something no acceptable is happening in that place. Now the priest wants to know about the little house for the gardener in the garden. He goes there to the little house in the garden and finds that place really exciting. Now the couple that owns the house comes to the front of the house and they enter the living room. They ask about the guests and feel that something is wrong there, because they know about the way the all-seeing ones control everyone and say about the ones that are sex in that fascist land. Now someone walks through the door, and it's the priest dressed as a gardener. He walks in and tells them that he is a bishop. The owner of the house tells him to go away because he does not think he is a bishop. They do not know that the bishop wants to be around to find out what is wrong in that house, because the all-seeing ones have told them that everything there is sick for them, the fascists. Now the host couple tell the domestic worker not to happen again to allow a stranger to get to them. They want now to clean themselves. It is not because they had sex, it's because they laid down on the ground and got a bit dirty. Now through the door comes the bishop. They are ashamed and recognize that he is a bishop. They ask what is the reason for being there. The bishop says he wants to work for them as a gardener. The bishop explains that his parents had a gardener and his parents died because they were poisoned. Now he is accepted by the couple to work as a gardener for them. Now the two girls in that group of guests and the woman hosting them are in a restaurant. They try to make time to return to the house of that couple because they know of someone who would like them to have shelter there, to have sex there later. That someone is the ambassador. He would like the house where they are guests to be the place to have sex, the ones who are like him. Because the ones forming that group are not just Spanish, they are the ones who have some non-Spanish surname. And those ones are those who know about all this that is sex in fascism. But they think that if they like sex it has to be had, because they can't stand a life without sex. Now again in the restaurant the three women make time to then go to that house. The three women like to be there and have a rest time about the rest that they really don't like. These women don't like Spanish ones who don't look like a foreigner at all. A waiter comes to them, and he knows that those women do not like the ones who do not seem foreign at all. That waiter tells them that what they ask to be served is not possible to serve because there are no stocks. That it's the way in which those who do not have the appearance of foreigners treat those who have a foreign surname, and do not seem like someone who is not a foreigner. Now these women are interested in a military man sitting at another table in the restaurant. The man gets up and comes to the women's table and asks if he can sit with them. That man asks them about their childhood, and if they were happy. Now he wants to tell them about his childhood when he was unhappy. The boy was wanted to be a military man since he was a child by his father's decision. His father told him that his mother had died suddenly, and then the father wanted him to accept a new future in a military academy where they were going to prepare him to be a military man in the future. The boy listens and says nothing. He leaves the room where his father is and told him that. He goes through the corridor, and then he sees his mother and hears her talking to him. The mother tells him that his father is not his real father, that his real father was killed in a duel by that one that he thinks is his father. She tells her son that his father wakes up every night and drinks a glass of milk. The mother tells him to poison the milk that his false father drinks every night. The boy does it, and that night the false father drinks that milk and he suddenly feels sick. He finally dies. The boy went after that to the military academy. That is the story of that military for the women. Now the waiter comes to their table and tells them that there is nothing that they can serve to them. He does that because he wants them to leave the restaurant. He tells them that they can only serve them water because everything else is out of stock. Now one of the women leaves the place and leaves the rest of the women alone in the restaurant. The woman arrives at the ambassador's place. This woman is the one who had more sex of that group of women. She wants to have sex not only with the ambassador. She does not want to have sex with only one man. Suddenly someone rings the bell of that place. The ambassador goes and opens the door. The one who comes is the husband of that woman inside the place. The husband knows that she is there, because they had the plan that he would arrive suddenly. And so they would all have sex together if the ambassador gets turned on by the idea of it happening. They plan to have sex, the three of them together, to test if that supposes weakness for the ambassador when the threesome has happened. Because they think that the ambassador is not the non-Spanish that he pretends to be. Because the ambassador keeps his surname secret. But they know that if the ambassador has sex with both of them and feels sick, it is because he is just Spanish and does not have not Spanish surname. So they try to test this and get to know his last names if he reacts to that sex with both of them by way of weakness when that sex becomes reality. The couple is now with him in the living room, and they notice that the ambassador does not dare to have sex with both of them. They feel that he has a sick feeling in his gut. The husband leaves the place, and the ambassador tries to have sex with his wife. They have realized how afraid he becomes when he feels that he has to have sex with both of them at the same time. So now they suspect a lot that he does not have non-Spanish surnames, which is what it takes to feel up to have sex with both of them at the same time. Now the ambassador looks through the window at the couple getting into a car and leaving. He also sees that girl who was playing with a toy like a dog, the girl that he said is a terrorist. He takes a gun that he has hidden. The girl rings the door, and through another door of that place he gets out and points the gun at her. He makes her enter the place. Now the ambassador talks to her and feels attracted to her. He is thinking of forcing her to have sex with him. The girl acts in a wild way and throws some things in the place. He likes her a lot and dares to touch her legs, trying to get under her skirt. Now suddenly a siren sounds so loud that he cannot understand what the girl says angrily to him. He doesn't listen to her, but he replies as if he knows what she is about. He thinks she is a terrorist because she is a far left-wing activist. He thinks she is some kind of anarchist or communist. She takes the gun that is on the table. She tries to shoot, but that gun that he left there has no bullets inside. He has another gun with him. He wants her to leave the place without killing her. She leaves the place and he goes to the window and makes a signal to two men in the street. Those two men go near the entrance of the building. When the terrorist leaves the building, these two men suddenly grab her and put her in a car that leaves the place with her inside. Now the action of the film continues in the house of that couple hosting those four ones. They are going to have dinner together. The ambassador and the bishop are introduced by the woman hosting them all. The bishop is not dressed as a bishop, but like the other men in the place with suit and tie, the ambassador belongs to the Republic of Miranda. Now the bishop is talking about places in South America, because he wants to know where that republic is placed at. He wants to check if the ambassador is really from South America. The ambassador knows what the bishop tells him about, but does not reveal where in America the Republic of Miranda is located. They sit at the table when suddenly a group of military men enters the place. They say they have been invited by the owners of the place when they were near the house doing military maneuvers. The leader of the military is smoking marijuana. So they talk about marijuana, that marijuana is smoked to test if those ones inside the place consume drugs. They want to test if they should be executed for doing that in a fascism. The fascists don't really like to smoke it, but they do it to check if that group and the ones hosting them do it. Those ones know that it is so way. The ones there who are checked fake all the time that they don't know that they want to know about them. They feel afraid, but they show themselves as relaxed and not showing that they really feel so afraid. Now they all sit at the table, including the leader of the military and the bishop. Now suddenly a military man enters the house and gives his leader a letter. The letter says that the military ones have to leave the place because they have a mission. Now the leader of the military says that the one bringing him that letter wants to tell a dream he had. That guy begins to tell that dream he had. He was walking down the street when suddenly someone asked him what he was doing there. That one was a man and they talked to each other as if they had something in common. It seems that suddenly another man talks to him and asks him about that other man talking to him before. That new guy tells him that the one he was talking to is dead. That second one leaves to try to find that first guy. Now a third person approaches him. This time it's a girl. And he doesn't know that girl is dead. Now he tells her about spending the rest of their lives together. Now he leaves her and is going to try to find that one that he spoke to before. He returns to where the girl was and no longer finds her. He says now that the girl was his mother. This dream is about the love of him for those two people. The girl is the mother because the mother is the woman he likes the most in the world. And the guy is the one he was in love with. That man is telling about the ones that he has loved the most in his life. Those two ones are gone and they want to keep his feeling for them alive. Because that way Christians feel better when they feel for someone is for eternity, and they do not lose their feeling for that someone ever again. They like the ones that feel like they do. The ones that do not interfere between the loved ones and the one in love with them, even when they have passed away. Now the military ones are leaving the house, and they are sure that the love of that military one is not felt by any of that group of people. And the all-seeing ones controlling everything for the fascists say they get sick about fascism, and they intend to break the established norms for the fascists. Now is the time to ask some questions about them to those who are in relation to them. Now the ones left in the house feel afraid, and the bishop wants them to feel more afraid regarding the ones are not having a foreign surname. So they feel observed by the one being said by the all-seeing ones about all of them. He is being said that the military will take time to make them feel more afraid. Suddenly some strong and loud shots are heard, and the hosts say that it must be military maneuvers. The guests feel sick in the gut, and the bishop does not feel it, but the all-seeing ones tell him that they feel sick. Suddenly, the leader of the military ones enters the place again. He tells them that he hopes that hell doesn't make them feel afraid. He invites them to dinner at his home next Friday. Now suddenly it is the following Friday, and they arrive to the street where the leader of the military ones lives. They are dressed in a very elegant way. The bishop is with them and they are all in the living room of the place. They are not afraid. They feel about all this in a way that only those with foreign surnames can do. They all sit at the table and suddenly they hear shots. There is more light now, and there is a red curtain like one of the theatres. Now the red curtain opens and they realize that they are on the stage of a theatre. In that theatre there are a lot of people sitting watching all of them suddenly. The whole group feels ashamed and leave the place progressively. Now it seems that all this that has happened was just a dream of the man hosting everyone in the group. He wakes up on the sofa near his wife. Suddenly the phone rings and that man picks up the phone and is told that they are waiting for him and his wife in the home of the leader of the military. The couple arrives at the place, and there they meet their guests and more people. The ones there who are not known by the group are mostly military men and their wives. The bishop is there too. Now the ambassador is answering questions asked about that Republic of Miranda. Nobody knows if that country really exists, but they keep asking about that country, the people in that meeting. He answers all those questions, but they notice that he feels uncomfortable when asked about it. He feels that he is being teased by them trying to catch him lying. The ambassador is going to leave the place when he is asked by the wife of the leader of the military about if he is going to leave there. He answers that no. The leader of the military then wants to ask him more questions about the Republic of Miranda. The ambassador gets confused because the leader of the military is saying things about the country and is not asking how it is there but making statements. He is saying how things are there as if he knows what life is like there and does not need to ask about it because he already knows how they are for real. This is making the ambassador a lot sick. They start to offend each other. The military man tries to slap the ambassador, then the ambassador holds a gun and shoots the military man several times. Now it is seen that the man in the group of guests who is not the ambassador wakes up from a dream. Everything that happened was just a dream of him. Now the 3 men and the 3 women are seen walking along a road going through the countryside with no buildings around. This means that there is a long way to the end of fascism, and they have to go through that long time hopeless of being rescued by the ones having the same surnames. They will not be able to leave the fascist country because fascism does not allow someone to leave the country or enter the territory. Now suddenly the woman living in the house is in the garden and talks to the bishop who is working in the garden. She tells him that she is going to have guests and she would like him to join them for dinner. Now a woman arrives at the place asking for a priest. The bishop agrees to visit a man who is going to die. The bishop gets to the place where an old man is next to die. That woman who went to find him tells that she does not love Jesus because she has not done it since she was a little girl. The woman tells him that later she will tell him the reason for renouncing Jesus. Now the priest is listening to that poor man next to die. He tells him that he killed 2 people he worked for when he was younger. He says that those people were rough and mean to him. They were a man and a woman very severe with him. He shows a photograph of that couple and him who was a gardener. Then the bishop, when he sees the photograph, realizes that those 2 were his father and mother. Now the bishop forgives that man and prepares to leave the place. But when he is about to leave he stops and thinks. He sees a rifle there and takes it and shoots the man in the head, killing him. Now the action is in the living room of the house. There together the 2 are hosting that group of 4 who are also there. Now someone rings the doorbell. It is the police. They look for the ambassador, they arrest him. They arrest one after another. Finally them 6 are arrested. Now they are in a place where the police have jailed the 6 all together. A policeman is talking to another policeman about a policeman who some time ago wanted policemen not to be loved by people. Now it is seen that policeman in a place where an arrested young man is wanted to confess his crimes. That guy does not want to talk, so the policeman threatens to make him talk. He tells the other policemen there that they have to make him talk, so he decides to torture him. That consists of using electric shocks on his body. Now the 2 policemen talking about that other are leaving suddenly. Now it is late at night, and it is dark. The policeman that the other 2 were talking about suddenly appears in that place where the protagonists are kept by the police. He is like a ghost and has blood on his head and clothes. The 6 ones are terrified when they see this ghost. He looks like a living dead. Now a man wakes up at the police station. He was having a dream about that policeman that was terrible. That policeman of the dream is there, and he is the one who has a strong sex appeal for all those who face him. It is so because he is the one who waits for those who are arrested to get to know everything about them. They know everything about them from before by the all-seeing ones, but they prefer to check it this way with this policeman. Now there is a phone call for the director of those policemen. It is a call from the ministry, and the minister wants those 6 ones are free of charges and leave the place to be free again. Now that group of people is in the house again. They are going to have dinner together. They don't feel afraid at all. They act as if nothing had happened. Now they know about that control of the all-seeing ones and they feel observed all the time. They better don't even have any intention of doing something not accepted by the fascists. They talk but better not talk about something that makes sick those Christian all-seeing ones who are there observing everything in that place. Now they never feel free. It makes no sense to feel sexually excited because that makes the all-seeing ones sick. Now they are not as they should be. Suddenly 2 men with weapons enter the place. They make the protagonists get up in the living room and shoot all of them. They kill them all. Suddenly the ambassador wakes up in his bed. All this that happened before was his dream. He goes to the fridge and starts eating. Now the 6 ones walk along that road in the countryside again. And this is the way is way to be done. Cause there is no way to make a way a way is done. But doing the way the fascism wants to be the way for the ones and not the way they are. But they have to not want to get away. While the way is the way the fascism makes the way has to be not to get away. But do their way the way for the ones from away.